All right.
Washing hands.
Eating of vegetables.
Now we,
These things that it says.
Oh, we are.
okay. Now we wash our hands, but we don't recite a blessing like we normally would.
And because there is no bracha, there's no need to remain silent. We can talk and laugh and have fun.
Oh, great, I get to talk.
Except for you, Murray. All right, so we want to wash now? What do we do? Wash? Fish time. In the interim, can I read a footnote? The reference to eating a vegetable. It was Rabbi Akiva's wife who suggested the inclusion of eat your vegetable clause in the Passover Haggadah. She had 6 boys, need I say more? The unique combination of foods known affectionately among traditional Jewish families as mortar mix is especially effective in ensuring that Seder participants will continue to taste the events over and over for at least 3 days. Yeah, that is so good. You can talk. Here's a towel right there. Do we fill it?
Might as well.
You're coming up. This is on the, this came from the word perfect. I'll show you that. You could, it's to 20 different languages, 18 languages. So you print in just like in English?
Well, how much would
What's difficult, that's where the vowels, they haven't done the vowels. The vowels are a little more difficult. It's hard.
find out the color?
Hopefully it'll go on.
Let's continue. I must continue.
Hey, Susan.
Please don't spill it on me.
Right. You're still going to be tied up?
Can we get the towel so that I'm not grabbing all over the place?
Tied up.
It's all over around me.
Why is it tossed across the
Oh, you just pull off.
Very thank you so much. Oh, okay, this is turning silly. I want to look. Susan, you want just to-
This is like Sandy Davis when and then home and call.
Wait in the middle of this, Susan. And you deserve that, Murray. There's a joke that just backfired.
I wet my pants.
That backfired. Yeah, go ahead. Jump in my pants. Jump the dark pants. Murray, does it feel good? Good for you?
I do that regularly every couple of
Next time
hours.
you'll shower before you come to the table.
I do this every couple of hours. What's your Come on.
I'll remember that, Jenny.
You're in big trouble.
I'm always going to protect you.
Get that chicken.
It's like it's Susan.
I was hoping it would make it shorter.
I studied.
We through with washing hands? Hey, Jay? Julie, did this at the bottom?
Quiet.
Y'all pay attention because there's going to be a pop quiz on this.
Sorry.
It's over.
Everything's
Oh, I forgot about that.
Begin with all our computers, let's go.
Okay, with all of our computers and advanced IMs, We still can't explain how a seed knows which way is up.
I studied in school that all plants eventually become food for some animals, and small animals are food for larger animals. So you could say that without the fruits growing in the ground, man couldn't live.
Maybe God's whisperer is what tells the seed which way is up.
Well, I hope he keeps whispering.
So I guess eating a piece of potato is a way of reminding us that as humans we depend on food from the ground.
And then we owe our survival to God. But why do we dip the potato in salt water?
Why are you reading that?
Jenny?
Why is he there?
That was the trade-off line I mentioned earlier.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm nobody else. You're right.
Did yours say that?
I've read that it's to remind us of the bitter time the Jewish people endured in Egypt.
Why don't we all take a piece of potato, dip it in the salt water, and then recite the bracha together? Ready?
All right, wait.
Not really.
Not really.
Wait, okay, so
The footnote says that on the vegetables, except for eggplant, for which no member of the animal kingdom has demonstrated any innate interest. There's water spread all throughout the...
There's salt water in the Bible.
Yeah, they're good. If you think they're good enough, why do you think they're good enough calories?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a general consensus?
Yeah.
Whoever has a footnote, Susan?
What?
We're saying whoever has a footnote, they can stop at that point and then read the footnote.
Yeah,
that goes
otherwise-
with
We
it.
don't have any of the long ones.
are you just gonna pass the plate? I mean, we all have water down here
Yeah.
to dip.
You're okay, pass.
Do you have any of them?
Of course, we can chop onions and make our own salt water.
Is that what you want to do?
Oh, I don't think
It's
it's
got
right. I
acres.
just thought that's why there was water 3 or 4 places on the
There you go.
table. Right,
You want to take one of those?
We just need to dip it real quick.
Either that or we're having dental hygienists come in.
Really?
Go, what are you doing? Say that's
Two for 8 minutes.
Well, down.
What page are we on? I told you to screw it up.
We're going to be reading at the bottom of page 9.
So where are we eating?
Everybody
You gotta make a brush.
Does everybody have one?
As soon as
Everybody's ready.
Stop it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No,
Gotta
I
get them all.
have to get it.
Ready?
Everybody?
Everybody?
Yeah.
That's not very hard.
We're
Are we ready?
Yeah.
I didn't see that at the top.
You go for that too?
Yeah, I can read.
Can I have one?
Shh, pay attention.
Before we get too caught up in the gripping story of Passover, let's break off a piece of pasta. What?
And the thing to ship open is on one of those sides.
Yeah, it does.
Murray, take it up. To have as a dessert. After a delicious meal, the Hebrew word for dessert is Afikomen.
I'll read the footnote on this one. Now, tradition has it that approximately 426 BC, Rabbi Avram ben Ashkenaz, an extremely learned sage of his day, was conducting a Seder in front of the large Jewish academy of Gansa. When it came to this point in the Seder, Rabbi Avi attempted to remove a single sheet of matzah for later use as a dessert. However, being the shemazel he was, the matzah broke into a number of pieces, not wanting to embarrass the Rebbe in front of the Gansa Yeshiva. His disciples immediately declared the practice a minhag, a custom. And to this day, we break the matzah and declare it Afikomen, which is butchered Yiddish for Avi's custom.
I love it.
Matzah is the bread which the Jewish people ate during those frightening days of escape from the prisons of Egypt. We eat matzah so that we can have a very small glimpse of what it might have been like for them. So tonight, we will eat matzah not because we have to, but because we want to, because we want to remember.
Right, Deb. And because we are free, we're able to do what we want to do. By eating matzah, we demonstrate our freedom of religion.
Freedom is the greatest gift of all from God. And as my parents taught me, and their parents taught them, I teach you that whatever you have from God is a gift to be shared, not hoarded.
So freedom is what we have, and freedom is what we must share. So tonight we invite any who are hungry and eat to come share our evening with us. Should I read the 4 questions?
Yeah, read the 4 question footnotes, Susan.
4 questions, 9. Students of Jewish liturgy have long struggled with the oddity of the 4 questions are actually 5 in number. While a number of explanations have been given, the most probable has to do with the quantity and frequency of alcohol consumption.
Who's Alex?
That's me. All right. Now, Lori, are you ready, dear?
No.
Why don't you come on over here with
That's
us?
probably a good idea.
Okay?
Alex, correct.
Hold on.
Oh, cool, we can do the
Well, everybody knows Jeopardy, I'm sure. Well, welcome back to Jeopardy. I'm your host, Alice Dreck. Okay, a little Jeopardy music, please. Good. Now the final Jeopardy question is Seder trivia. Now remember, contestants, to respond in the form of a question.
I'll take Seder trivia for 100, please.
So, we'll all sit around and talk about how the children of Israel were delivered from slavery in Egypt.
Beep, why is this night different from all other nights?
Ah, correct. But we're going to need that in Hebrew, please.
Okay,
Now sing it.
Sing it?
Yes, sing it in Hebrew.
I'll take Seder.
Okay, because there wasn't enough time for the dough on their backs to rise.
Beep, why on this night do we eat only matzah when on all other nights we can eat any type of bread? Yeah, I know in Hebrew. I'm your friend. What? Chamei to matzah, halalaza, kulo matzah, kulo matzah. I'll stay with Seder 300.
Fine then, because their lives were bitter.
Beep, why do we eat only bitter herbs, although on other nights we can use any kind of herbs? Shebakol, halalaza, maror, halalaza, maror.
Right again.
Seder trivia for 400.
Because kings used to dip their food in exotic sauces.
Beep, why do we dip our herbs twice, not just once?
I need a full response, please.
On all other nights, we don't even dip our herbs even once. Why on this night do we dip them twice?
Go. Judges? Looks like they always have it. We'll give you the question, but we'll need it in.
Then I'd like to wrap it up with Seder trivia for 500.
Question is, because kings lounged while they dined.
Beep, on all other nights we eat our meals sitting in any manner. Why on this night do we sit in a reclining position? Shevachol Hallelujah, I'm Yoshmi.
That should be Bang Yoshmi. I left out the Bang. I deleted the word. It's Bang Yoshmi and Bang Masudi. Let's try the Shevachol Hallelujah. Bang Yoshmi. There you go, Lord.
What's next? I think it's time to tell the story.
Right, and this is a story I heard from my parents sitting around a Seder table, just like we are tonight.
Just like
And they heard the same story from their parents, and so on and so on.
Can I just add a footnote to this?
Yes.
Which is just sort of interesting?
Sure.
When I was in Israel, I learned that if you took a table somewhat similar to this one, and you put the papa there, and a son or 5 here, and grandchildren here.
Yeah.
Papa always used to sit at the end of the table and say, I heard this from my parents.
Right.
And if you put another table on the other side, so he turned around and became a grandchild, his grandfather was in the end, and you did that. There's only 33 tables between this table and Sinai.
Wow. 33 tables.
Which really, it's not that long.
Bobby Lamore has that every week.
That was interesting.
Thank you, Mike.
Julie?
Mike.
Long, long ago, the Jewish people lived in Egypt, but a cruel Pharaoh ruled the land and things turned bad for the Hebrews.
They were taken into captivity and forced to carry the heavy stones used to build the pyramids. When things seemed like couldn't get worse, Pharaoh gave his soldiers a new order.
There are too many Hebrews in the land of Egypt. I decree that every newborn Hebrew male shall be drowned in the Nile. Thousands of children were drowned by this decree, and there was great mourning and weeping among the Israelites.
There lived among the Israelites a man named Amram of the tribe of Levi. Yocheved, his wife, had given birth to a boy. Now Pharaoh had sent out spies to search for all newborn babies.
Wishing to save the child from the hands of the cruel Egyptians, his mother hid him well. Yocheved made a cradle from reeds and tar. The tiny raft smelled and leaked and smelled. Smelled, leaked, and smelled. The experience was anything but pleasant, which may explain why, to this day, you'll never see a Jewish tugboat operator. And anyway, it was found along the river's edge.
She put the child into the cradle and set it afloat. Miriam, the child's sister, watched from the riverbank, her heart throbbing with anxiety.
It happened that Pharaoh's daughter, Bermuda, came to the river to bathe. When she heard the baby cry, she had him rescued.
Miriam timidly approached the princess and offered to call one of the Hebrew women to her child. Receiving the princess's permission, Miriam soon returned with her mother. Thus little Moses was reared by his own mother.
Afterwards, the princess took the child Moses to the palace, and even though Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace, he never forgot that he was an Israelite.
Once as a young man, Moses saw an Egyptian soldier beating an Israelite. Angry, Moses killed the officer and buried him in the sand. Pharaoh learned about this and sentenced Moses to death.
Moses fled to Midian. Midian?
Midian.
What is it? Because I gotta say it.
It could be anything you want it to be.
He was placed in the middle of the road.
There he sat down to rest near a well where shepherds gathered. Among them were the 7 daughters of Jethro, priest of Midian.
Good job, Lord.
Moses helped the girls water their flock, and Zipporah, the eldest daughter, invited Moses to her father's house. Jethro's other oldest daughter, Velcroa, didn't share her sister's interest in Moses. She was more stricken by Aaron, who, rather than watering the flocks, was not unwilling to help with the cooking.
Moses married Zipporah, and for many years he tended the flocks of Jethro. Then one day, while grazing his sheep near Mount Sinai, Moses saw a bush on fire. Amazingly, the bush was not burned up.
Moses wanted to approach, but the voice of God called out, Moses, remove your shoes, for you are on holy ground, but do not come any closer.
Then God commanded Moses to return to Egypt and set the children of Israel free. With his brother Aaron, Moses returned to Egypt and appeared before the king.
He asked Pharaoh in the name of God to free the Israelites. But Pharaoh laughed and said that he had never heard of the God of the Hebrews.
To prove the power of God, Moses threw down his rod and it turned into a snake. Still, Pharaoh laughed.
My magicians perform the same feat, he insisted. And even though Moses' rod swallowed all the other rods, Pharaoh remained unconvinced.
And Moses told Pharaoh that if he wanted to set the Israelites free, God would send him 10 plagues to convince him otherwise. And so this happened.
First, the River Nile turned to blood. Second, frogs covered the land. According to Scandinavian folklore, the word chametz derives from the Celtic word for frogs, kermits. Third, flying bugs filled the air.
I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't have 4 classes either. Fourth, God sent dangerous wild beasts, then all the cattle died, and soon the Egyptians broke out and boiled.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't forget hailstones.
8, clouds of locusts. Locusts, like the things that fly. Not to be confused with lotus, which brought upon the land another type of darkness. Ate the crops. Ninth, there was darkness for 3 days.
Oh, but Pharaoh was very stubborn. Even up to the 9th plague, he was not motivated to change his mind. But after the 10th plague, the killing of the firstborn males of the Egyptians, Pharaoh was convinced.
God appointed an angel to have all the firstborn males of the Egyptians killed and taken to heaven. They went immediately to heaven because they themselves were innocent and God did not want to punish them. How did the angel know which were Egyptian firstborn and which were Hebrew firstborn? Lori?
When Moses is, of course, God told Moses to tell the Hebrews to mark their doorposts so that the angel would be able to identify the Hebrew woman passed over the house.
Oh, yeah. Now let's list the plagues.
Hold on a minute. Fine, Sean. You get so engrossed in
I know, this is
You're
really,
waiting for
you're
the whole
actually,
story.
At least we're telling the story.
but yeah, actually know what's going on.
We are talking about 10, 15, 250, and...
This is great.
You all